Yeah, I think this one has changed massively over the last 40, 45 years. In traditional society, it was very difficult for people with disabilities and mental health, because people are on the move quite often, working long hours, day and into the night. It's like living on a small farm, subsistence farm, where you try to make most of your own things, and you're going 24 hours a day virtually, in between sleep. Not a lot of time in between. And so in traditional societies, people with disabilities and mental disease would have found it difficult in any culture across the world. And I think that was the case with Aboriginal people. This area has been made, though, so much more complex because of the unwise approach to many of these subjects by the mainstream government facilities and government departments, where they've now made people quite confused about who is responsible for these people. Now, the view of why somebody's disabled and why is somebody got a mental condition probably traditionally was always based around something had gone wrong with the spiritual laws of the universe, or something, or somebody had done some nasty thing to do sorcery and cause harm upon a person or to a family. So it would have been seen that it probably came from that origin, or people would have been just trying to work out why it was that it's happened to their family. And this is the case now, where people have even got rheumatic heart disease. The parents are trying to work out, did we do something wrong? Is it something that I did wrong? Why my child has got this disease or condition? Because there's just so much lack of information there. And it was the same for these people. But the government has made it more difficult, because the government has continued to push in programs that have become mainstream programs, and they think, oh, now we should just roll it out to everyone. I remember in the early 80s, just as I was ready to leave Rummanginning on a stretcher, I got very ill. One of the meetings I attended was government people from Nhulunbuy coming to Rummanginning, right along the coast in Arnhem Land, trying to roll out Meals on Wheels programs. Now, Meals on Wheels down south was a wholly voluntary program structure, voluntary system. Up here, they were going to pay somebody to do it all. And they came to a meeting, and the old people said, no, hang on, we feed our old people, we look after our old people. We don't need a government to come along and look after our old people. But the government was sent away that day, but they came back again, and they came back again, and they came back again. And I was away from Arnhem Land for 8 years, and I came back into a situation at Rummanginning where almost all the adults on that community were being fed by this Meals on Wheels program. And the Meals on Wheels program was also taking their social security payments to pay for the meals. And then people were getting into debt, and then there was arguments, and in the end people ended up in court because they assaulted the cook. And I was just scratching my head saying, how can this community come to this? How can it get to this? And it got there because of the absolute confusion that this one government program had caused. Aboriginal people traditionally used to look after their old people, used to look after their people in need, very much so, right across the board. One of the criticisms of Aboriginal people is that they keep giving their things away and their money away and so forth, because they're very charitable, very charitable. That has changed now, because now people are convinced that it's the government's job to pay for everything, and especially for people who might be with extra need. In some places across Australia, Aboriginal people, once they're older people now get to a certain age, will take them to a nursing home, drop them off out the front and say goodbye to them, because they're convinced now that that's the government job to look after them. Well, the young people go and have fun, have a free living, go and help yourself. That is not the traditional Australian culture. And it's frowned upon by many Aboriginal leaders today. It is a culture that has come from confusion, lack of information in the people's own language around all these issues, and unwise government programs that are rolled out without too much thinking about the catastrophic effect it's going to have on the community it's rolled out in.